Hello everyone, Shanda Sturk here from Shanda Sturk Stamps. So I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I've been for about 10 years. I started just doing hobby because I used to go shopping to make cards and I never could get the ink to match the paper, and I went to a craft fair and this woman made beautiful cards. She handed me a retired Stampin' Up! Catalog, and the rest is history. I just love their products and the way everything matches, and it's so easy to make cards. Now I'm thinking I try and show some simple cards. Most of my customers are kind of avid stampers, so they like the cards that are a little more pieces to them, but I do both, and I do classes for children as well. I'm a retired school teacher. My children used to love it when I brought my punches and everything to school. Anyway, so I do try and show different things, and if there's anything you'd like to see, please just leave me a comment, and I'll try and help you with anything. So tonight I'm going to show you a new technique, new to me. It's been all over Pinterest, and several of my friends have done it, and I thought, well, I've just got to try this. But I didn't have the right alcohol at home. Anyway, so I'll just put my camera down and I'll show you. All right. Here we go. Now you've seen my space a bit. I'm very fortunate. I have a big space and I can have everything within my reach. Okay, we're going to try and we're going to make this. It's so neat and so easy to do. I was surprised. Now, the one thing you'll need is rubbing alcohol, and it can't be anything less than 99%. Hi, Teddy. How are you doing? So you've just got to make sure. So I only had 70% alcohol, rubbing alcohol. My daughter was going to the pharmacy anyway, so she picked this up, and the pharmacist asked her, well, why are you buying this? And she says, it's for my mom. She's going to craft with it. And his eyebrows went up. Anyway, this is really a pretty easy technique. So what you need is a spare kind of piece of paper. I always do my cards on this, but when I've used a piece, I kind of keep one piece underneath, and then if I'm doing something like this, I can have it. So all you do, now I'm going to do 2 colors of green. You use your Stampin' Blends. Hi, Shirley. So and it has to be an alcohol marker. It can't be your regular, I don't, I mean, I haven't tried it, but it can't be these because they're not alcohol based. So alcohol based, and all you do, I mean, it's really kind of therapeutic. So I'm going to use Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, and Pale Papaya. So you could use anything you wanted, but all you do is you just color. Now the nice thing about this, if you're not really a fan of coloring, is you don't have to color in the lines. You just kind of put your ink. Now you do want a fair bit of ink. I found when I did this, if you didn't have a fair bit of ink down, it didn't have quite enough color to it. So I'm just going to color over those again. Okay, we'll put that down. Now we'll do the light Mossy Meadow, which I think is this one, yep. And you want, you want to use the fat end. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of light where my dark is. And you're going to want to fill in the whole thing, because the alcohol really, the rubbing alcohol, if you don't fill it all in, like these are things I've learned from trying this, so we'll just try a little bit of light in here. Okay, now dark Old Olive. Now this pen, I had to get new ones. This one is something happened to the tip on it, but I've been using it for this because I don't want to waste it. I could have phoned Stampin' Up, but I didn't with this. Stampin' Up is so great about if something doesn't work out, So I'm just going to put a little bit of dark here, a little bit of dark here. I don't even think I'm going to use the light. I think I'm just going to use the dark. Okay, we'll fill in. Okay, and put a little bit up here. And then the rest, and I'm not going to use the light pale papaya either, because when I did this the first time, the papaya didn't show up really well. Now you could use yellow. I just kind of want a little bit of sky, and you'll see why in a minute for this card. And I try not to go, I do want to go right to the edge of that, but these do pick up the green a bit, so just try and, so I'm just gonna try and put a lot of color in there, and a little bit in here, and a little bit here. I think that's good enough. I'm just gonna add a little more. Now, the other thing you can do is, when I did my first one, I let it dry, and then I added more color to it. So if you don't kind of like the color, now this is the, so I've got rubbing alcohol in this little jar. Because you don't need a lot, but it's easier to get your paintbrush, and then if you do pick up color, it's not going to go back into the big. So a little bit of this, and all you do is dab it on there. And see, it makes those beautiful circles. I hope you can see that. It's so incredible. I couldn't believe it. Like, I watched a couple of videos, and then a couple of my friends on my West Coast team that I belong to were doing this and just making fabulous backgrounds. Okay, now I don't know if I want too much. I might just let it. Now see, with the lighter colors, maybe I need to use a little less. We'll just put a couple dots where it hasn't spread. Okay, so see that? It makes these beautiful big bubbles. So by the magic of TV, we'll just put that over there. So this is what it turns out like. And see, on this one, this is the first one I did. I actually dried it with my gun, which I could show you on this one. I think on this one I put a little bit too much rubbing alcohol. Anyway, we're just going to show you so it can just use your gun and you can dry it a little faster. I've put too much. So I just did this, and then I went back and added a little more color so that I had a little more pale papaya. So you can dry it and then add more color. So this piece, now this is your standard card again, just cut a piece of cardstock in half. So it ends up being 5.5 and 4 1/4. Then you cut, now I've got old olive because I used old olive. You could put mossy meadow behind there too. And see, when you add the color behind, it really brings out those bubbles, which is just fabulous. Anyway, so that's what I did. And this is 5 1/4 by 4. And then I just cut 1/8 of an inch. So this is 3 7/8 and 5 1/8. So it just gives it a little bit of an edge to it, and then you've got your background. Now, what I'm going to do, you can do anything you want with these, and then, but I'm going to use my Canopy dies because I've been featuring them all week. So I've cut out these trees, and I'm just going to put that there. Now, so I've already done all these cards. I've been posting them all week. So I could just leave it like this. To me, that looks great. With these, I've just added pear pizzazz and old olive on the background of that one. This one I used the shaded spruce. This one I just used the new color soft succulent. Yeah, isn't it neat, Shirley? Hi, Ellie. Welcome. So, and this was my favorite. See, these dies, you can just cut them out and put them on a card. And then I used the Canopy on the bottom, and then this was a swap. So all these cards I've made. Now I was going to mention, I am working on my newsletter for classes, and this will be one of my classes. So, and what I try and do with my customers is they do 6 cards for $15. I cut all the pieces and then they put them together. Now, lots of my customers don't like to make a card class from just one set, so they will choose from different sets. But to do this card class, you just have to leave me a comment and then I'll private message you, and I can cut all these pieces and have them in the mail to you, and you could make 6 of these cards. Now you can help me decide tonight, because I think this looks pretty on its own, but ahead of time. So these are the Inspiring Canopy dies, and see, all you have to do is lay them down. I run them through twice through the Big Shot. These only once, but I run these twice just to get all those little pieces out. And then this is the bundle. All these sentiments come with it as well. So what we'll do is just do a little bit of experimenting. I cut out a whole bunch of old olive, so I could add a canopy to this. All you have to do is, I just sat one night and I cut out a whole bunch of canopies. So you've got, this is the biggest one. I tend to start with the biggest one and lay that. See, that does look nice with that. So I might end up, there we go. And then one more. And you can overlap them. You can also, you see how this is cut here, so it doesn't come all the way out, but you can also just kind of push them up a bit to give this a little bit of depth. There we go. So I'll put that on the bottom and that one on top. So I could do that with all of them. And actually, doesn't that look nice? So see, it gives a great background. So whatever colors, if you were doing, you could do like a kind of a yellow orangey background for night, or even a purple. And you could use these colors. This was evening evergreen, soft succulent, and pale papaya. I just used my brushes on that. But you could do that with this too. I'm gonna have to experiment now with a few more colors. Now all I need is a sentiment. And I'm not sure. Sometimes if I don't have this could make a nice sympathy card. Let's do that. Now, I've got a nice piece of white right there. So sympathy. Will that fit on there? I don't know about you, but I always have these little pieces left over. Yep, that'll work. I think I'm going to do it in soft suede. We'll do the sentiment in soft suede. Oh, and we will put the lid back on this. Anyway, yeah, it's such an amazing technique. So if you do this at home, this is beginning to dry already, and this looks quite nice too. Every time you do it, it'll be different. I would probably use, and see, I can color this again. I'll show you that in a minute. But this is still quite pretty. I did use a little too much rubbing alcohol, so that start low, and build. That's a good technique for that. Okay, here's my, so we'll just do with heartfelt sentiment, sympathy, and get that on there. There we go. See, and there you've got a card. And it's just beautiful and so easy. So now I'll maybe show you. We'll put this on. I'll just close this. We'll just clean this really quickly too. I cut mine in half and then put it in a smaller container so it didn't take up so much room on my desk. And all you have to do is clean this. There we go, and it can go right back in the set. All right, now this, we'll just take a little stamp and seal and put that down. I'm just going to show you this because you do have to be careful with the vellum and how you put it down, because lots of times with vellum it will show through. So, okay, that looks, yep. Okay, now we're just going to leave the vellum for a minute and those trees. Now what I've been doing with this tree, there's two ways to do this. I've gotten pretty good. This is not a full glue bottle. I can't do this with a full glue bottle. Whoops. But then I've gotten pretty good at just, you don't need a lot of glue. You just need a little dab here and there because it will hold the tree on. So the other way to do this is to take your, I have all this stuff, is to just take your silicone mat, put a little bit of glue in the corner, rub your sponge in it, and I've used this sponge a ton of times, and just mat, yep, you can see that. Just mat that down. Just get it on there, and then here too. A little bit of this glue works. Now take your vellum and put this down on your vellum, and I'm going to move it off there so I can see where it needs to go. Okay, it's going at the bottom. The nice thing with this Canopy is it fits. We'll just move it over just a smidge. Okay, and we'll press that down. Now you can see on your vellum, so now you can take your glue and you can put your glue where that tree is, because no one will see it. So we'll put it down each stem, and then you just do what I was doing before. Put a little bit of glue, I think you can see that, a little bit of glue on the heavier parts. Move my fingers so I can see. A little bit of glue here and there. You don't need a lot of glue. Maybe a little bit at this edge and a little bit at that edge. Now I kind of like it when it hangs over, but if you don't like that, all you have to do is snip this off. Okay, we'll put that back in my, there we go. Then you just put that down there. Ooh. I'm going to try this technique with lots of other things. So great. Okay, and then I think this I'm going to put up with my dimensionals. And I'll show you in a second how to put the canopy on there. I won't spend the whole time. Now the neatest thing I have learned this year is to just take your pick tool and just pull those things off of there. How many hours have you spent trying to peel those off? That is the most amazing thing. Anyway, there we go, and then this can just go here. Now, these, again, you just do them one of two ways. So let's do the, and this easily goes, just put it in your sink with your dishes, maybe after your dishes are done, and you can just wash your mat off and do this over and over again. So I'll just do one. There. You just kind of have to experiment and put it on there a little bit at a time. So, and then you just keep putting them on until the whole thing is covered. Isn't that pretty? My. Anyway, so I hope you try this at home. If you like and you've tried it at home, just leave me a comment or leave a picture, and feel free, or send me a picture and I'll post it underneath here. Now I'll just show you, this is now dry, so you can take your pale papaya and go over these spots where it's kind of white, and then I'm just going to remember not to use. See, and what I could do is put a little pale papaya in these other spots too. Maybe a little bit right here. Okay, Then we'll take, so what we'll do is we'll just rub this off so there's not so much on. See, and then you can put, see, I'm getting a little more circles of color in there. A little bit more. Yeah. Use a little less. Start low and go slow. There we go. See, and then you've got more bubbles and more color. And then, and actually, I kind of like that big bubble in the middle there. So I'm not quite sure what I'll do with this, but we'll see. So give that a try at home and let me know how it goes. And if you'd like to do a class or you'd like to have my newsletter, I am figuring that in the summer I can do classes outside under a canopy. Not a tree canopy, but and so we can do things outside this summer. I'm quite sure BC seems to be doing quite a bit better that way. Or I can mail you the pieces and I can do a class by Zoom. So you just let me know what you'd like to do. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and thanks to those who watch after it's posted. And give this a shot. It's lots of fun. Okay, thanks very much. Bye.